Good day everyone, I am Daniela Santos, and for today's discussion, I'll be going to discuss the ecological living practices under Module 10, Ecoliteracy. So according to CAPRA 2003, sustainable ecological living is based on different sets of principles. To assess the impacts of our choices and actions, we need criteria from studying the basic facts of life. So this is as follows. First, material cycles continually through the web of life. So natural processes recycles materials like water, carbon, and nutrients, ensuring that the resources are reused in our ecosystem. Second, most of the energy that drives the ecological cycle flows from the sun. It is true, right? The sun provides the primary energy source for life, powering photosynthesis in plants, which supports food chains and ecosystems. Third, diversity assures resilience. A wide variety of species and genetic traits helps our ecosystems to adapt to changes, making them more stable and capable of recovering from disturbances. Fourth, our species waste is another species' foods. In nature, nothing goes to waste. Decomposers break down organic material and returning nutrients to the environment for reuse by other organisms. How cool, right? Fifth, life does not take over by the plant by combat but by networking. Organisms thrive through cooperation and interconnected relationships, such as symbiosis and mutual support, rather than through constant competition. So, ecological living helps us understand how everything in nature is connected. It teaches us to find and solve environmental problems, and by learning about ecology, people gain knowledge and skills to take actions and help create a better future. Therefore, ecological living means to live in a way that it first, respect and replenish the carrying capacity of our planet. We should use natural resources wisely and ensure that they can renew so the earth can support our future generations. Second, honor our interrelatedness with all expressions in life. Everything in nature is connected, and our actions affect all living things. So we must live in harmony with the environment. Because remember, environment can live without us, but we cannot live without the environment. Third, enhance the equalitative aspects of our relationship. Living sustainably improves our connections with nature, communities, and future generations by promoting care and responsibility. Fourth, bring forth the best of our human capacities for the co-creation of an ecological, sustainable, and caring world. By using our knowledge, creativity, and compassion, we can work together to build a world that is both environmental friendly and healthy. Smithson's 2014 provided practical suggestions for promoting sustainability through ecological living. To maintain sustainable actions, it is important to find inspiration in both personal growth and ecological awareness. So the following are the perspectives that highlight both inner and outer aspects of ecological living. Under inner ecology, we have 8. First, become a catalyst of change to help co-create a better world and future. Inspire and lead others towards sustainability by making responsible choices and encouraging a positive change. For example, organize a community cleanup drive or promote eco-friendly practices in your school or the workplace. Second, care for and relate with non-human beings while spending time with nature. Develop a deeper connection with animals, plants, and our ecosystems by observing and respecting them, like plant trees, feed birds, or simply appreciate the nature during our outdoor walks. Third, make the most of sustainability crisis that forces us to learn, dream, think, design, act, and relate in new ways. Use environmental challenges as opportunities to innovate and improve how we live sustainably. like creating eco-friendly products or finding alternative solutions to reduce the plastic waste. Fourth, join the rest around the world and become the agents of sustainability. Participate in global efforts to promote environmental conservation and sustainable practices. Support international environmental campaigns or join sustainability movements. Fifth, nurture nature by taking care of our body and becoming aware of our natural body rhythms. Recognize the personal well-being that is connected to nature and adopt habits that aligns with natural cycles, like eating organic foods, staying hydrated, and following a healthy sleep schedule, even though it is quite hard. 6. Become more energy efficient and learn to recycle our own energy. Manage personal energy wisely by maintaining a balanced lifestyle and avoiding unnecessary exhaustion. 7. Learn to compose our own waste and no need to dump this onto others. Handle personal struggles and negative emotions responsibly instead of passing them onto others. 8. Become aware of the rights, needs, and well-being of future generations and explore how we can support this in our actions. Make choices that ensures a healthy and sustainable world for future generations, like reducing carbon footprint, conserving water, and advocating for policies that protect our environment. Now we're done talking about inner ecology, let's proceed to outer ecology. First, educate ourselves about the resources that we, our family, and organization utilize to fulfill and sustain our needs. Understanding where our food, water, and energy comes from helps us make responsible and sustainable choices. Second, reduce, reuse, repurpose, and recycle. Minimizing waste by using items multiple times or giving them new purposes before disposing of them. For example, turning our old clothes into reusable shopping bags instead of throwing them away. Third, be aware of the real price of goods and services that we use. Some cheap products may harm workers, animals, or the environment during production. So we should avoid fast fashion brands known for exploiting workers and instead choose ethically made clothing. Fourth, find out any child labor practices or natural resources that were sacrificed in the production of goods and services. Researching the ethical and environmental impacts of products before purchasing them. For example, choosing fair trade coffee to ensure farmers receive fair wages and work under humane conditions. Fifth, recycle gray water. Reusing slightly used water like from sinks, shower, or laundry for non-drinking purposes, like using water from washing vegetables to water plants instead of letting it go down the drain. 6. Collect and use rainwater. Harvesting rainwater to reduce water consumption and support sustainable water use. Example, installing a rain barrel to collect water for watering plants and cleaning outdoor areas. 7. Create an organic vegetable garden. Growing your own food naturally without chemical pesticides or fertilizers, like plant tomatoes, lettuce, and herbs in your backyard to have fresh, pesticide-free products. 8. Compost organic waste and use the compost in the garden. Turning food scraps and plant waste into nutrient-rich soil to support the plant growth. Composting fruit peels and leftover vegetable scraps instead of sending them to landfills. 9. Create a garden with a balance of endemic and indigenous plants to support local wildlife. Growing native plants that provides food and shelter for local animals and insects, like planting milkweed to attract butterflies and support their life cycle. 10. Create a roof garden or green roof that act as a natural air conditioning alternative to increase garden space. Using rooftop spaces for greenery to reduce heat and improve air quality. 11. buy organic and local products as much as possible, supporting sustainable farming and reducing pollution from long-distance transportation. 12. Support local businesses and organizations that care for our planet, choosing companies that prioritize sustainability and ethical practices. Like for example, buying an eco-friendly brands that use recycled materials instead of plastics. Let's proceed to integrating ecological literacy into the curriculum. The Center for Ecoliteracy advocates for diverse teaching strategies that aligns with students' developmental stages and brain-based learning to cultivate the knowledge, skills, and values needed for sustainable living. Students learn most effectively when the teaching methods are varied, incorporating hands-on activities, reflection on time, meaningful discussions, and the mix of indoor and outdoor learning environments, as well as interdisciplinary projects. The following are key approaches. Place-based learning is an experiential approach that connects students to their local environment, encouraging environmental responsibility and community involvement. It takes learning beyond the classroom through activities like mapping ecosystems, studying human-environment interactions, restoring habitats, and collaborating with locals to enhance community life. It adheres to the following principles. First, place-based projects are integrated back into classroom lessons. Real-world experiences are connected to academic learning to deepen the understanding of our learners. For example, after a field trip to a local river, students analyze water quality data in the science class. Second, students want to learn in order to apply their knowledge to solving real problems. Learning becomes meaningful when students see its impacts on real-life issues, like studying renewable energy resources to help design a sustainable school project. Third, students plays an active role in redefining and recreating projects. Learners contribute ideas, adopt projects, and take ownership in their learning. Example, modifying a community garden project to include composting and rainwater collection. Fourth, students collaborate with local citizens, organizations, agencies, business, and government. Working with different groups helps students learn teamwork and make a real impact. Fifth, students help make plans that shapes the future of their social, physical, and economic environments. Engaging in planning encourages responsibility for sustainable community development. For example, proposing ideas to city officials for safer bike lanes and green spaces. 6. Students are encouraged to view their community as an ecosystem and understand the relationships and processes necessary to support healthy living. Recognizing how people, nature, and resources interact promotes sustainability, like studying how pollution affects local wildlife and creating awareness campaigns. So research reveals the benefits of place-based learning, such as first, higher test scores, better grade point average, improved classroom behavior, increased self-esteem and problem-solving abilities, and lastly, higher level thinking skills. This is according to SLY 2015. Second, we have the project-based learning. It is a strategy that involves students' projects that use a variety of resources, including the community, technology, outside experts, written resources, and the web, while the teacher usually serves as facilitator of the learning. Using this strategy, research shows its impact on learners, such as increased critical thinking skills of students, fostered positive attitudes towards subjects such as mathematics, and exemplary performance with conceptual questions and applied problems, and lastly, improve positive study and work habits, problem-solving capabilities, and self-esteem. Likewise, project-based learning bears environmental impact such as habitat restoration, modeling the evolution of agriculture, and changing food in schools. Third, we have the Socratic inquiry. This is named after the Greek philosopher Socrates, who believed that questions stimulates learning. Therefore, rather than teaching facts and information, teacher encouraged students to ask questions about their assumptions, values, and preconceptions. The role of the teacher shifts from direct instruction to facilitating discussion. Through skilled questioning, the teacher asks students to clarify their statements, identify weaknesses in their arguments, and provide evidence for their reasoning. In return, this strategy impacts students' learning as evidenced by the following outcomes. Students reveal their beliefs, misconceptions, and values. Second, students become more adept in critical thinking. Third, students improve their listening skills and learn to better articulate their thoughts and ideas and become more tolerant of diverse opinions. Next, we have here experiential learning. It promotes students' involvement in the real world and defines the teacher's role as a facilitator of learning. The process of learning leads to behavioral outcomes. It is based on the premise that learning is an active and continuous process with experience at its foundation. It goes along with the principles of learning associated with environmental literacy. First, the experiential learning is vital to schooling for sustainability. Learning through hands-on experiences helps students understand and apply sustainability concepts effectively. Second, only through direct contact with the natural world will students develop an in-depth understanding of fundamental ecological principles. Experiencing nature firsthand, this deepens the knowledge of ecosystems, biodiversity, and environmental interactions, like observing how plants grow in different soil conditions through a school garden project. Third, by working with others to solve real-world problems, they also develop skills at the heart of sustainable living. Collaborating on environmental challenges builds teamwork, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, like creating a community composting program to reduce the food waste. Fourth, when students participate in experiential learning, they frequently follow the learning cycle. Learning happens in stages, starting in exploration, followed by understanding the concepts and applying them. Lastly, this is a process that starts with unstructured exploration, followed by concept formation and application. Students first explore the topic freely, then learn structured concepts, and finally apply their knowledge in real-life situations. Fifth, we have the interdisciplinary learning. It emphasizes connections between traditionally discrete disciplines such as math, science, history, and language arts, rather than limiting learning to one content area at a time. The following are advantages of this interdisciplinary learning. First, when teaching and learning are organized around themes, problems, or issues, students seek knowledge and skills from multiple disciplines for a deeper understanding. So, learning through real-world topics helps students connect knowledge from different subjects. Example, studying climate change by combining science like the weather patterns, math, which is studying data analysis, and social studies that studies policy impacts. Second, when done well, an interdisciplinary approach eliminates fragmented learning and isolated skills. So this method ensures that subjects are connected, making learning more meaningful and comprehensive. It allows students to explore a theme from multiple perspectives using different sources of information. So students engage with topics in various ways, leading to a broader and deeper understanding. Fourth, it allows teachers to differentiate instruction and create more engaging assessments. Teachers can tailor lessons to different learning styles, making assessments more interactive. For example, instead of a test, students can create a projects, such as a community garden plan to demonstrate the learning. Fifth, it increases students' motivation and active engagement. Hands-on or real-world learning keeps students interested and encourages participation. For instance, investigating local water quality through experiments and interviews with environmental experts are learning and crucial to develop this technique. Next, students recognize the value of their learning and becomes more involved. When students see real-world applications, they feel that their learning is relevant and important. 7. Students learn more when they apply multiple skills and interact with peers, teachers, and the community. Collaboration and hands-on learning strengthen the understanding and skill development of learners. And 8th, interdisciplinary teaching and learning aligns with principles that supports sustainable living, connecting subjects that help students understand how their actions impact the environment and society. For example, exploring renewable energy solutions by combining science, engineering, and economics. To conclude, ecoliteracy is essential for fostering sustainable development and creating environmentally responsible individuals and societies. By understanding ecological principles, people can make informed decisions that supports the well-being of the planet and future generations. Schools plays a critical role in promoting ecoliteracy by integrating it into the curriculum and encouraging hands-on experiential learning. Through ecological living practices, both inner and outer ecological awareness can be developed, leading to meaningful actions that contribute to environmental sustainability. Ultimately, ecoliteracy empowers individuals to adopt sustainable lifestyles and advocate for environmental responsibility, and work collaboratively toward a healthier and more resilient world. And that would be all. I am Daniela Santos. Thank you.